This is the Insurance Perspectives podcast presented by HawkSoft. We are currently in the Bahamas and at sea for the industry's biggest family reunion, the 2025 HawkSoft User Group National Conference. Back on the ship, I'm about to be joined by George Patterson, HUG board member and HawkSoft customer since 2008. On today's episode, we talk about what agents can gain from attending a HUG event, including long-lasting friendships and tips and tricks to help one's agency run more efficient. George Patterson served as the agency development and systems manager for Williamson Insurance Services based out of Zanesville, Ohio. George got his start with the agency in 1995 as a personal lines and life sales associate. In March of 2009, he moved into his current role. He holds a certified professional insurance agent designation from the AIMS Association, displaying his dedication to professional excellence. In 2024, George joined the HUG Board of Directors, where he strives to enhance HawkSoft's position as the leading agency management system in the industry. Outside of insurance, George and his wife, Kelly, actively participate in Zanesville's performing arts scenes as a performer and as a musician. George brings a blend of experience, dedication, and a commitment to excellence to every aspect of his professional and personal pursuits. He is also a huge movie buff, so if you ever encounter him, chat him up about the last great movie he saw. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go for a swim. Back to you. Thanks, Beach Ken. George, I'm really glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Kenny. I'm glad to finally be here with you guys.
Excellent. Yes, we wanted you on the show for a very long time, and this felt like the ideal opportunity. You know, we're here. We're on the Utopia of the Sea at the HUGatSEA 2025 National Conference. I just want to start things off by asking, how has your experience been so far at the 2025 National HUG Conference?
I'll tell you, it's very much like any other HUG conference I've been to, and that is that it has been really great, informative, a lot of access to HawkSoft employees and peer users, so that's been fantastic to be able to talk about them. Big thing with HawkSoft 6 coming out over the last couple of years, and learning a lot of things from that as well. But like any HUG I've ever been to, it's been fantastic. It's just really been stepped up a level here, being able to do this in the middle of the Atlantic with you guys.
Excellent. How many HUG events have you been to?
So I've actually been going to the HawkSoft National Conference since 2017, the very first one that they had in Sandusky, Ohio. And I've been to every one. There was one that was canceled during our COVID year. The year after that, things were just ramping up. We weren't able to make it to that one. But other than that, I've been to every HawkSoft conference since 2017. So we're talking about 8 years there. Yeah. So probably about 6, yeah.
This is where on LinkedIn it would pop up and it would say, you've been connected to George Patterson since 2017, because I think that's where we met
exactly
for the first time.
Right.
How does a HUG event separate itself from other industry events?
Now, for me, I tell you, that's a very easy question, because at a HUG event, you are actually getting to meet with the developers and the decision makers that work to shape the product, HawkSoft. And I've been to several industry events, and none of them give you that kind of access. But what's even more important is it's not only an opportunity for you to voice your opinion to that, let them know about future features that you would want to see, but they really engage. They listen. When you look at Paul and Sean and Jason, all the way down to folks like yourself and Jeff, they're engaged. They listen. They say, let us see what we can do with it. Whereas some of the other larger or even maybe non-engaged type companies, they'll listen, but you don't necessarily see the traction on it afterwards. HawkSoft is completely different in that way.
We try, and the follow-up question that's popping into my head right now is, how often are you talking business with HawkSoft people, and how often are you not talking business with them?
I say it's 50-50.
Yeah.
That's fair, because the great thing about HawkSoft is it's also quite a family atmosphere, not just within that company, but they really treat their users much the same way. So as such, I've come to know their families, their children. I know that somebody may be on a mission trip, or they're graduating from college, any of the things that would line up that way. So that's why it's so much That's why, for me, you can talk business part of the time, but then you just let it go at the end of the evening or the day, and you say, tell me about what's going on in your life. And it's great to stay connected that way. Another reason I love coming to a Hug event is because that gives me an opportunity once or twice a year to reconnect with people that I've really developed a deep relationship with, and with people that I really enjoy and I really like.
Well, can you talk to us about the value that Hug has brought to your agency?
Yes, absolutely. From the first event, what I have found is that when I would go to the breakout sessions, when I'd go to any general session or class, I would jot down notes, and there was always a nugget, or there was always some type of takeaway that I could go back to my agency and say, listen, this is what I learned, this is what I know, let's try to put this into place. And most every time that we've done that, we've grown with that. We've been able to do things better, efficiently, effectively, and taking that kind of way, even if you do one or two things from one of these conferences, I think that is the perfect thing to have, to attend.
Yeah.
And if it's going to make your people better, if it's going to make your agency better and more successful, it's just a no-brainer to me.
Absolutely. I love that. What kind of friendships or relationships have you created at Hug events?
That is a great question, and it kind of speaks to what we were talking about before, and that is that there are a lot of people that I have connected with on a personal level that even outside of these events, I had mentioned that I like to reconnect with them once or twice a year at these events, but even outside of these events, I love to shoot them a quick text. I love to shoot them a call and see how things are going. Sometimes things might be going on with their parents. Sometimes things might be going on with their kids, and it's nice to stay connected with those. But the other thing that I love about the friendships that I make here is that they are all over the nation. And it is really great to be able to meet people from all walks of life, from all over the world.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how you've built these relationships, and you can be traveling. We've got a lot of friends in Utah. It shocks people. It shocks my friends, because born and raised Oregonian, I don't get out a lot. But when I tell them, I'm like, oh yeah, I got like 4 really good friends in Ohio. And they're like, really? Did you go to school with them? I'm like, well, they're insurance professionals, but met them through work, but now I consider them some really good friends that I can like talk to about non-work stuff, or I can check in with their life events, or they check in with me. And I know that if I'm going to be in Ohio, like I have people I can go and I can talk to, I can meet up with, I can have dinner, I can get where's the best local spot to go. It's kind of amazing what Hug facilitates in that way of like, because it's such a relationship-focused group, that's what we leave with. We might take home some like, oh, this will be a great thing that I can improve my agency with, or these are my top 3 things that I'm going to do differently with HawkSoft. But more so than that, it's like, oh, now I know that if I want to learn about kayaking, I can just like hit up Brent. Or if I want to talk movies, which might be foreshadowing to the lightning round at the end of this, I can talk with George.
That's right.
And that's pretty special about Hug.
Yeah, absolutely. It is unique in that sense of what they do, and it is exactly what you said. The people that you meet here are just so warm. They're so open that you get to know them, and you do get those kind of invitations. You want to go kayaking? Yeah, call me.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Or, where's the best spot to eat? So, I had a conversation with someone right before this, and I think we are going to go out to Minneapolis here this summer, and we're going to connect with him. And he's like,
nice.
I know all the spots, and I know where you can eat, and it's wonderful. It makes the world a better place.
Minneapolis, you weren't talking to Jerry Fox, were you?
Wasn't talking to Jerry Fox, although now that I know that, I'll get a hold of Jerry Fox.
Oh yeah, he probably knows who you're going to go see. So in addition to Hug events, what other benefits do you have by being a member of the HawkSoft User Group?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is the information and the help. This is the truest sense of a crowdsourced or crowd helping group that I have ever seen. It's great because we get things like access to, with our membership, we get webinars, We get to speak to partners, connections that will help us with our business on maybe tools that HawkSoft doesn't offer because by nature they're a management system. They don't want to get into the phone space. They don't want to get into the VA space. So they have partnerships that they work with that. And I think much to the credit of your team and the way they vet them and everything, it gives us great access. You get that for resources for learning, but it is also user sharing with other users. We have said that over and over again. And it is one of those things that if one of my fellow users in Ohio, Kelly Endicott, if something comes up, I can call her up and there's no kind of guarded stance or anything like that. She's like, well, here's what we do in ours too. And I'm like, yeah, that clicks. That will do what we need. So it is so much more than a user group in the sense of we're going to send out a newsletter or we're going to hold this class or we're going to do that class or we're going to do this every year. It is users coming together to help other users. And that is the exact environment that HawkSoft fosters. And it's just infectious.
So George, why do you think it's important for agents to attend HUG events and get involved in the community?
So to attend them, you could go beyond just like we were talking about the breakout sessions, right? And we're talking about classes. That goes beyond that so much more for exactly the same reasons I said before. And that is, you can have those content connections, you can have those conversations outside of those regular sessions, and you can sit down with a group of friends and say, how do you guys do it here? How do you guys do it there? But furthermore, I just want to hit this again, that you will have direct access to the developers, the owners, and the people that make decisions at HawkSoft. And if you see a feature that is really important to you, and you see that it would be a benefit not only to your agency, but to the entire user group as a whole, you can bring this up to them. They'll tell you, yeah, get this in the community, get support behind this, and we will look at doing this. And the great thing about HawkSoft is if they see that support, they see the interest in it, they will put forth every effort they can to make that happen, and that is unique. So it's a voice. That's the other reason to be at a HawkSoft conference. The learning's one thing. We've hit on that several things. But it is also your opportunity to be the voice in shaping how that product looks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the access is somewhat unparalleled. In my real job, when I'm not just making podcasts, I have to go to several. I don't have to. I have the opportunity, and it's a huge boon to my career that I get to travel to non-HawkSoft conferences, and there might be low-ranking fellows like myself that are wandering the floor that I can connect with, but rarely do I have the type of opportunity to see like, oh, this is the individual that started the company. This is the individual that sits on the board and makes decisions. It's hard to explain because I think folks maybe outside of insurance, hi mom, that listen to this, they might not realize that what do you mean Mark Zuckerberg just doesn't walk around a Meta conference? It's like, well, yeah, he doesn't. He's probably surrounded by a bunch of bodyguards. And unfortunately, that is also true for some of our peers in the space, where they're minimize their floor time, whereas I think our people maximize it. And we do our best to like rotate folks through to attend HUG events. And but you can always find our board and our leadership team at HUG conferences to just talk to directly.
Yeah, and how amazing is that? And I'll take that even a little further on that. I would dare to say there is not another management system out there that gives access like that to their movers and shakers, if you will.
Paul's behind me, isn't he?
He's right over there.
And that's the type of access we're talking about.
How are you, Mr. Hawkins?
Mighty fine.
Okay, excellent. Those are all the planned questions I had. I want to pick your brain a little bit more. First and foremost, so we're at the national conference. The national conference is the annual gathering. We get together hundreds of agencies all in one spot to talk and meet and learn. What are the other important HUG events that happen throughout the year?
Yeah, so online you have, if it's tough for you to get away from your agency, if it's hard for you to maybe get out of the office for any particular set of time, There are partner webinars, there are HUG webinars, and there are user webinars that's available monthly for everybody, and they cover a wide range of topics. What's great about these is it doesn't always have to be the agency management system related. It can be, here are some things that you can do in your office to help morale. Here are some things that you can do to help mental health in your office. So there are much more benefits than just saying, we're going to show you how to use the system. But if you're more of an in-person kind of thing and you like that interaction like myself and you like to talk to people, fellow agents, HawkSoft also does, the user group does regionals all around the country, and they try to make those very accessible to people so that it's not as much of a trip as, say, something like a cruise or down to Texas or something along those lines. But those features are available to people too. And just access to your board of directors, to your planning committee. We try to be very, very available, very transparent to everybody for that. And that's another great benefit of HUG membership.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot. One of the things we bond over often is movies.
Yes.
You're a fan of movies, you're a fan of movie making. So I have, I'm quickly formulating in my head certain questions, because I'm sure you're the same as I am. If someone asks me what is your favorite movie, I have to say, like, okay, wait, what genre, what director? Like, you got to give me categories, or else I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to give you a list of 100. We are currently on the second largest cruise ship in the world, and I would love to know your favorite movie that heavily features water.
So this one's been the same for me for 50 years. Okay, so this one's a pretty easy for me. I was introduced to the auteur of our time, Mr. Spielberg, by way of Jaws back in 1975, which is turning 50 this year. And it is fascinating to me because I have easily, probably without hyperbole here, I have easily seen that movie into the triple digits. And it is exciting and somehow new to me every time that I see it. So a movie that features water, I can go right to that right away and tell you it's Jaws for sure. Yeah.
That's probably, I don't know if there's a better answer. I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think, because I was going to make jokes about Waterworld, or the Poseidon Adventure, which I don't know if you're allowed to mention. These are plastic tables. I don't know if you're allowed to mention Poseidon Adventure on a cruise ship.
That's like when they show the airplane disaster movies on the airplane.
On the airplane, yes. You've definitely seen Jaws in a theater?
Yes, so I've had opportunity to do that a couple of times. So I'm hoping it comes around again for the 50th.
Absolutely.
I think it would be crazy if they didn't.
I remember I learned some lessons watching Jaws on a big screen, because I think when you watch Jaws on TV, you're just like, why are they afraid of this tiny little shark? But when you see it on the big screen as large and as loud as it's supposed to be, you're like, oh, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, and then I know one of your other passions is, or not passions. I don't want to suggest that you're like connected with anything or you're a made man or anything like that. But I know you like the mob, or you like mob memorabilia, like things associated with it. So are you a Godfather Part 1 or a Godfather Part 2 kind of guy?
So I have always viewed those films as one large film. Okay, so this is to me, that is one large film, and I'm just going to throw into this too that I feel that Godfather 3 is a little underappreciated.
I'm looking at our producer behind the camera, because we haven't had this conversation, but it's the type of conversation we would have. I agree. I think that the unfortunate thing is that when you put it up against Part 1 and Part 2, it's like, of course, literally any movie is going to feel worse. But if you treat it as its own thing and you try to understand it, I think it is a lot better than people remember. I'm a Part 2 guy. Just to give clarity, I think that Part 2 is the better of the two, but I respect that answer. I think it's very thoughtful.
Origin stories are amazing.
Yeah.
If they are told right, they're amazing. And the issue with Godfather 3 is it's very tough to make a sequel 17 years after two very richly remembered.
Oh, absolutely. What do you think of Gladiator 2?
I'm kidding. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. I think we will leave it there. But George, it is always a pleasure to get to talk with you. Thank you so much for what you do for HUG as a member of the board, what you've done in helping events and running sessions and running webinars and spearheading our LinkedIn efforts with the user group. I sincerely appreciate you, and I value our friendship greatly.
Thank you guys for having me, and very much the same to you, buddy. I appreciate it. All right.
Well, we're going to throw it back to Beach Ken. We'll see you all later. Thanks, Studio Ken, and thank you, George, for joining us. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in to today's podcast. As an extra special treat, I have a special guest here, Darren Defoe, one of HawkSoft's best product owners with over 20 years of experience at the company. Darren, can you tell us more about George's agency?
Absolutely. Linda Anderson brought George to HawkSoft, one of her very first sales when she joined the team in 2008. And I was the sole trainer for their agency, implementing every phase of their onboarding. And it was awesome.
Excellent. And George has been your friend for the last
17 years.
Beautiful. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you join us next time on the Insurance Perspectives podcast. Thank you for watching today's episode. Click the episode description below to learn more about our guests and to view the latest podcast episode, as well as other content from HawkSoft. We appreciate you watching and hope you join us next time on the Insurance Perspectives podcast. Thank you.